Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California. He sits on the House Intelligence Committee. Nice to have you with us, and let's just get right to it in your assessment. Look,
Thank you.
Attorney General. Good morning to you. The Attorney General has recused himself. He says, even last night on Fox, look, my answers I felt were honest at the time. Are you satisfied?
No, I'm not satisfied. And with this administration, it seems with each passing day, we learn about more Russian ties that are followed with more Russian lies. And here, I don't know what country would want to have its top law enforcement official having lied under oath twice about another country that had just attacked its democracy. He knew why those questions were being asked, and 2 times he had an opportunity to be forthcoming and truthful, and it looks like he just boldly lied.
He says he was not lying. It was not his intent to mislead the committee. It gets to the intent, which, of course, you know, as a lawyer, is a legal term, and that'll be something that is argued over time. I don't want to move on to something else you got to, which is the idea that there are these other previously undisclosed meetings between Trump associates and the Russians. There's the meeting at the convention with Carter Page, J.D. Gordon, and others with the Russian ambassador. There's this meeting we just learned about with Jared Kushner and the Russian ambassador that happened during the transition. You sit on the Intelligence Committee. You have information we do not have. Do you have reason to believe there are still more meetings out there that we don't know about?
Well, I don't even think you have to sit on the Intelligence Committee to follow the pattern of deceit that you see here with Michael Flynn not disclosing prior Russian ties, with Jeff Sessions not disclosing prior Russian ties, and now learning about Trump family members and prior Russian ties. And so, to me, it's a consciousness of guilt. And so we should continue to pursue this, and I've called for an independent, bipartisan commission. Every Democrat supports that. Walter Jones, a Republican, just recently came on board. And the only way to get to the truth now, because it seems that there's not much independence in the Trump administration, would be to take this outside Congress and fully look at what were the political, personal, and financial ties that Donald Trump and his associates had with Russia.
So you want something akin to a 9/11 style commission that would be much more done in the public, because I should just be clear for our viewer, what you do is largely in private.
That's right. The Intelligence Committee, we are undertaking our own investigation, but that will largely be classified. So I think we should depoliticize this, take it out of Congress. We should declassify as much as we can so that the public findings that have come forward, the public understands the facts that the intelligence community has put out, and also debunk the continued effort that the president has made to try and undermine the findings that the intelligence community has made with respect to what Russia's involvement was in our past election.
So Donald Trump, the president, calls this a witch hunt. And the former Attorney General, Mike Mukasey, says something interesting right now. He says, what's the alleged crime that you're investigating here? He thinks there needs to be something allegedly criminal or the suspicion of something criminal going on in order to justify the investigation. Again, what are the possible things you are looking for that happened that you think are criminal? The fact of a meeting in and of itself isn't criminal. I'm talking about aside from the fact of whether Jeff Sessions perjured himself or not in the hearing, but dating back to the meetings in the summer, where's the crime?
Sure. The question is whether Donald Trump or anyone in his orbit, anyone on his team, had knowledge or worked with Russia as they were seeking to undermine our elections. So were they working with them as they were hacking Democratic documents? Were they working with Russia as they were putting out fake news through their social media trolls? Were they working with Russia as Russia's broadcasting company, Russia Today, was also disseminating unfavorable news about Hillary Clinton and trying to help Donald Trump? That would be collusion, that would be conspiracy, that also could be racketeering. So looking again at the personal, political, and financial ties between Donald Trump and his team and Russia.
So the ranking member of your committee, the House Intelligence Committee, Representative Adam Schiff, said just yesterday that you guys are not getting everything you think you should be getting from the FBI and James Comey. Listen.
The director spent about 3 to 3.5 hours with us, and on the areas he was willing to discuss, we had a very in-depth set of questions and answers, but there were very large areas that were walled off, and those walls are going to have to come down if we're going to do our job.
Can you explain what he's talking about, what you're not getting? Can you give us more detail?
Yeah, and Poppy, I don't want to go into what was discussed in a classified briefing. I appreciate Director Comey coming and speaking with us. And what Ranking Member Schiff and I and others on the committee are asking is just follow the evidence. It's in the president's interest, if there is nothing there, that also comes out. But right now, all of the arrows continue to point in one direction, that there was a personal, political, or financial tie between at least his associates and Russia, or all the way up to the president himself. None of these are coincidences. This is not an ambassador from a friendly country that continues to meet with Trump's associates. This is an ambassador from a country that attacked us during the election.
I'm confused, though, because Paul Ryan, as you know, who's in the Gang of Eight, the chairman of the committee, David Nunes, a Republican, they say there is no evidence of collusion. They say they've seen nothing.
They shouldn't be talking about that, John. They should not be talking about anything they learn in a classified setting.
But they are.
But they are. I agree. Perhaps they shouldn't be talking, but they are, and they've said that out loud. You say there is evidence, or you say that everything we've seen indicates that there could have been. So you're sort of talking about it too right now. I sort of want to get to the truth. You say you want to look into this collusion or possible collusion. Again, have you seen any evidence that suggests that there was such collusion?
Right, and so when you look at the public findings that the intelligence community put out, that the 17 agencies who came forward and said that Russia attacked our democracy. It was ordered by Vladimir Putin. It intended to help Donald Trump. So that's one bucket of evidence. Then
short of
you
collusion,
have questions
because we've all read the report. It stopped short of collusion. It said they tried to meddle, but it made no reference to any collusion.
Right, and so the question about collusion, that's being raised because of the prior Russia contacts that Donald Trump's team, people in his orbit, had. So Michael Flynn, who had traveled to Russia, had been paid by Russia. You have Carter Page and Roger Stone and others who were advising the president who had prior business relationships with Russia. So those questions have to be chased down. And right now, I'm not going to comment on what we learned in a classified setting, other than to say that all of the arrows continue to point to a country that attacked us, had a very unusual relationship with Donald Trump and his team, and had unusual amount of access, which for an adversary, I think requires us, demands us to protect our democracy and chase down these questions.
So do you think Paul Ryan and David Nunes are lying when they're saying they've seen no evidence of collusion yet?
I'm not going to accuse them of lying. I'm saying they should not be commenting on what is said in a classified setting. That is wrong, and it betrays our oath to protect national security secrets.
You could argue that makes the case for a 9/11 style commission, where a lot of this is in the public or comes to the public. Guys, thank you. Congressman Eric Swalwell, thank you very much. Get a little too casual here apparently on a Friday. We appreciate it.